Welcome back to my channel, Paper Therapy with Amy. Amy here, and this is the Good Life paper collection. And this is a photo of my husband and I in front of a windmill in the Netherlands. Pretty awesome, epic trip we had there. So, well, my parents were born there, and my husband's grandparents were all four born there. So pretty neat. And I had a cousin there that I could visit, so that was pretty exciting. All right, so this is the sheet I want to start on, of course. And I don't really have a plan of what I'm going to do, so I'm just going to play around a bit. I do want to have some red, as my husband's wearing this kind of orangey red hoodie. And also because I have this left over from a previous mix-in. But I also have this mix-in, and it's got these little flowers, so I do like that as well. Wondering if I can do like a top. And the Dutch flag is red, white, and blue. So, and you'll notice if you look close that there's little red lines in this background paper too, which is kind of neat. I'm thinking I want to show this one, unless I cover it. No, I think I like this over here. I really wanted to incorporate some red from the mix-in paper. So I'm trying to add this one here. The gingham side looks a little Dutch to me, but the back side looked more so Dutch with the little flowers on it. But I found that it was really disappearing on this patterned background, this windmill background. So I'm trying out different sheets behind it, and when I come to a wood grain sheet from the mix-in paper pack, it's like, that's it. That's the one that looks good. So I decide I like it, and I cut a 6.5 by 6.5 inch square instead of a rectangle, just to have a different shape in behind and be able to add some more layers in. You can see here I'm still trying to make that mix-in with the scarlet color on it work, and eventually I do incorporate it, but it just takes me some time. Then I found this mix-in from a previous mix-in packet with scarlet on it, and I really liked how that anchored the picture even more with a darker color behind, especially with the light on the very base. While I'm fussing around with this mix-in here, I'd like to tell you that I'm so happy that you stopped by my channel to come and see what I'm creating today. And I really hope that you'll subscribe to my channel and hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps me out. It helps my with the YouTube algorithms so that my channel is suggested more often to people who might be interested in it. So now you can see that I've decided to tear off the bottom of this red piece to give it some distressing. And I inked around everything with espresso ink. And I was pretty heavy-handed with the inking because I feel like it really makes everything blend together nicer. And I really like the way it looks on the edge of wood grain and darker colors to have that shading towards the edge. If you are new to my channel, something you'll see me doing more often is gluing the components together, but not gluing them to the background page yet, so that I have an opportunity to move them around while I decide where I'm going to put embellishments and title and things like that. I had the opportunity to go on this trip to Holland with my husband because he is part of, I've said before, it's called A4LE, Association for Learning Environments, and it's a not-for-profit. And they had to do some meeting overseas, so we decided they actually had a meeting in Amsterdam, so we decided to go a week early and visit with a first cousin of mine, and they were just so excited to have us come and visit. I wanted to add some strips at the top of the page just for some interest, and I haven't done this technique in quite a while, adding some narrow strips. So the blue strip is a zip strip. It's actually the zip strip that's on the other side of this paper I'm using as a base, this windmill paper. And then I took a strategic strip, so it just shows the flowers. from that mix-in paper, and then a strip of actually ruby cardstock because I have never used up my ruby, so I figure it matches scarlet good enough. This paper is kind of like a mixture of harbor and mist in a gingham, and I really liked the way it kind of brought some of that mist or blue color down farther on the page, so I tucked it in behind, kind of creating a camouflage of it being one big piece in behind the photo. I do that kind of thing quite a lot in order to conserve paper. I was actually kind of mad at myself that I forgot to do it on the wood grain because I could have cut a chunk out of there and that would have been nice for cutting out letters or something in another layout. But I didn't do it there, so it's covered up now. Speaking of that wood grain paper, I think part of the reason I liked it so much is that it created a more solid background for my photo, but also it really goes with that kind of ledger look, blueprint of a windmill look in the background. And I think all these papers really work well together to give kind of a rustic design, almost a farmhouse design, which kind of works with these old mills that you see in Holland. If you know anything about Holland, you can look up what Holland looked like before they started reclaiming it from the sea. And most of Holland was underwater, under the ocean at one point. And then they created a system of pumping using these mills. And yeah, just look it up. It's really an interesting history. The wooden title piece that I just placed is from a tag from the sticker sheet. You'll see it to my right by my scissors. There it is. And I didn't really picture myself using that specific title in that shape, so I decided to cut it and use it on the top there. I also put be grateful up there, which is fitting because I'm so grateful I can come along with my husband on these trips. And the other two words that I place kind of across the picture from the heart are this day and memories. I think the top one is memories and then this day. So those are all phrases from the sticker sheet. At this point, I'm thinking about what I want to make the title of this page, and I decided on the Netherlands, which is kind of the official name of Holland, and I knew I wanted something more, but I wasn't sure what, and then I found something that worked really well in my stash. I did try cutting out the words the Netherlands in black letters, but it ended up being too long for the page, so I decided to stamp right on it, and I used an older stamp set called Jennifer's Hand. I had to reuse some letters, so I got my head totally in the way, so I cut most of the stamping out. Because I was stamping directly on my layout, I did try it on a white piece of paper first and kind of put it in the spot to see if I would like it there before I committed to stamping right on the layout. I recently have been really organizing my chipboard embellishments and titles, and I found this wonderful title that just seemed to fit with Explore the Netherlands. So I decided to add that as well. I also think it really is pleasing to the eye because you see it's kind of the same color as the wood grain. So you see the wood grain at the top to the right and then again in the title at the bottom. So it makes a really nice triangle. So because I now have my embellishments organized in these really cute little drawers, and one day I will make a video, I was able to access and find all these embellishments so quickly because I just zipped open a drawer and went, okay, here's my gray or here's my white. So I'm using some of the Cosette embellishments with the printing on them, and those other embellishments like the leaf that I'm adding right now, those are from years ago paper pack, and they are, I believe, charcoal gray. So I could have cut them out, but I have them. Like I have the right dies to cut out of charcoal some leaves, but I have these and I want to use them up. So it seemed fitting just to pop them in here. And with my new system, I think it will be nice if I have leftovers from a page when I'm making my own die cuts, I can just throw them in the color coordinating drawer for the next layout. This really was a bit of a stash busting layout because I also pulled out some Bluebell gems to add. And Bluebell was a color of the year, how many years back? And I'm using them up. So they really, because they're kind of a sparkly gem, they really match that mist harbor color that's on this page well. And they just were a really nice finishing touch at the center of the flower and in a few other places. This was such a fun layout to put together to kind of relive some of my European vacation slash work trip with my husband. And it was just an amazing time. And I am really glad that I hadn't scrapbooked any of this trip yet. So hopefully this kickstarts me and gets me going on scrapbooking this trip. So here's a close-up of how the different components look. I'm really happy with how it all turned out. I showed my husband and he said, "Oh, that's cool." And I said, "Did you notice the windmill in the background?" And he's like, "Of course I did," which made me laugh because sometimes he doesn't notice these things. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you'll come back again next time. See ya.